Hi, this is a foreigner living in the Philippines. It's late night again. Sorry you're in for it. Okay, and I was talking to someone today about how stories are made up. What is it that makes a good storyteller? Well, I think that what makes a good storyteller is someone who can draw you in by making your imagination work as if it's nothing to do with you, as if it's just turning over like a clock in your head. And I think that those who are best at telling stories are the ones that can do that. Now, in my family, I had a sister who was 7 years older than me, and I had a brother who was 7 years younger than me. And my sister, in later life, she slowed down in her thinking and in her speech and everything. She just thought in a different way. When she was younger, she was quite a live spark. In fact, my sister often saved me from quite a number of scrapes, and I wrote about this and my brother in a book, one of my books about of short stories. Well, my sister gained a great place of respect in my thinking because she was tough. I mean, this is Patty. Patty was tough. Now, very often Patty would be in charge of me when I was a kid, and she would rule as if she was a mother. Well, I remember, and I'll tell you this one quickly, I've written about it at much greater length, but I'll tell you this one quickly. At one point in our lives, we actually lived far out near Ringway Airport. That's now Manchester Airport. But back then, all of the cheap council housing that was made by the government for us poor people, we got a house out there. There was no employment there, and we eventually gave up and moved back to Hume. Well, anyway, I don't know what I did, can't remember, but I do remember that this man chased me home, and I managed to get into what we called the ginnel, and the ginnel was a passageway between a row of terraced houses. For the houses that were in the middle, they'd have a separating passageway, and we called it the ginnel. Don't know why. Well, I ran down the ginnel and into the arms of my sister Patty. What's going wrong? What's the matter? And right behind me came this man, who to me was a giant, of course, because I was only, let me see, how old would I be? Maybe 6 or maybe 7. So he wants to get hold of me because of what I've done. And Patty pushes me behind her, and she stands there. She's about maybe 12 or 13 years old, as skinny as a chicken wing, and tough as they come. And she says to the man, "What?" And the man is faced up by this young kid now, a thin slip of a girl. And he says, "Where's the mother? I want to speak to his mother." And Patty looked him in the eye and she said, "His mother's not here, and when his mother's not here, I'm his mother." Well, other talk must have ensued, but Patty looked over her shoulder like that and says, "Get inside." And that was for me to go inside. And I scrambled inside, and I felt the guy move towards me. But I managed to get into the kitchen, and Patty is in between me and the giant. Well, anyway, what happened next, I'm not exactly sure. But when I looked around after I'd gotten into the kitchen, the man was no longer there. I never thought very much about this later. That was just the kind of thing that Patty did. She saved me from things. Well, a few days after that, there was a knock on the front door. My mother answered the door, and a policeman was standing there, and he said, "Patricia Flannery?" And my mother said, "No." And she leaned over like this and said, "Patty?" Patty came and talked to the policeman. And he said, "You're Patricia?" And she said, "Yes." And he handed her a piece of paper. And the piece of paper was a summons to appear in court on assault. Now, exactly what happened, I'm not sure, but the way that I put it together was, and I made it up into a story saying the case, well, I won't tell you that because it'll give the story away. I won't tell you the title, that is. So